Hi friends, it's good to have all of you with us today for the children's message. I can see you there. I'm glad you're here with me. Yeah, I can see your outfits are changing a little. They're not quite as summery, right? Yeah, fall's coming. All right, it's good to have you with us. And thinking about things that we're wearing, today I think we should talk about shoes. What do you think? What kind of shoes do we have? Let's see, we've got good shoes. And we've got sandals that we might be wearing now, right? Sandals. We've got Rebecca's flip-flops. I bet you guys like flip-flops, huh? Flip-flops. And we've even got some fancy boots, huh? Fancy boots to wear. Yeah. So all kinds of different shoes. You have shoes too, don't you? You have a whole bunch of shoes. So I bet you're thinking, why the heck is Pastor G talking about shoes, huh? Well, we'll get there, okay? So think about when you go into your house. Do you, raise your hand, if you wear your shoes when you're in the house? Any hands out there? Do you wear your shoes when you're in the house? Yeah. Now if you remember from last Christmas, Pastor John will tell you, I don't wear my shoes in the house, but what do I wear? What was that Christmas present that he got for me, huh? It was my slippers, right? So I have something on my feet. So how many of you walk around barefoot in your house and you don't have any shoes on at all? That would be Pastor John. He doesn't like wearing shoes. So we've got shoes and you go bare feet, either way, right? And then when you go visiting people, what do? Do you keep your shoes on when you go into their house? What would happen sometimes if you came in and it was kind of muddy outside and you walked into your house or somebody else's house? Your shoes would be muddy, wouldn't it be tracking mud across the house? So there's some people, when you walk into their house, you take your shoes off, don't you? And you take them off out of respect so that you leave your shoes and the dirt from outside by the door, right? Yeah. And that's kind of like what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about sandals and removing sandals, okay? So I think for us to get ready for our lesson, let's take our shoes off. Take your shoes off, I'll take my shoes off. We'll take them off out of respect, okay? Respect, out of respect for what we're going to do. And so as we get started, we're going to read a story about Jesus and Moses. And Jesus tells Moses to take off his sandals. So we'll get a feel for that when we take our shoes off, okay? So you got your shoes off? You ready for the story? Okay, our story comes from Exodus. Moses was keeping the flock of his father-in-law Jethro, the priest of Midian. He led his flock beyond the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire out of a bush. He looked, and the bush was blazing, yet it was not consumed. Then Moses said, I must turn aside and look at this great sight, and see why the bush is not burned up. When the Lord saw that he had turned aside to see, God called to him out of the bush, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here I am. Then he said, Come no closer. Remove the sandals from your feet, for the place on which you are standing is holy ground. He said further, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look at God. Okay, so God told Moses to take off his sandals, and he was calling him from where? In the bush, right? The bush was burning, and Moses was kind of checking it out, thinking, the bush is burning, but it doesn't look like it's burning up, right? But it caught his attention, and God was trying to get Moses' attention because God wanted Moses to do something for him, and Moses didn't think he was the right person, but God had a job for him. And he wanted to make sure that Moses really paid attention. And so he had the fire and he talked to him in the flame and said, Moses, I got a job for you. And so what I need you to do, okay, I need you to get some red or yellow or orange construction paper and make a flame, just like a fire, okay? And you can make whatever you want out of your construction paper. This is all I could find. So make a flame. All right, make your flame. And then after you make your flame, then you want to put your name on God calls you, just like he called Moses from the fire. And he's calling you and saying, come and follow me. I got a job for you. And so the flame, put the flame up with your name someplace in your house or in your room to remind you that God calls you and God really wants to get your attention and he wants you to follow him and to do his work, right? To be his disciple. And how can you do that? When you go out and you share God's love with other people, you're reminded that God calls you because he knows that you can do the job. You can share his love and let others know that he's around, right? So especially this week, remember for yourself that God is calling you and he's holding you because as you head off to school, Jesus is there with you and he'll always be with you. And he's reminding you that you have a job as you go out to share God's love with others. So when you get to school and you see new kids or kids online, you know, with our new virtual stuff, it's kind of hard sometimes to get adjusted to it. And so maybe even online you can still help others and let them know that you care. Let them know it's okay if they can't figure it out. And then you can help them. You can be kind to your teachers and be helpful. So this week, share God's love. Even in trying times, you can share God's love because you know God is calling you in the flame by name. He's calling each one of you by name to say, I love you, and I invite you to share my love with others around you. Okay, so remember that this week, that God is there with you, even if it's hard, and God is having you share his love with others too. So thanks for joining me this week. Have a good week at school, and we'll see you next week.